Okay, I want you to imagine, just for a second, one absolutely giant app. I'm talking about the whole shebang, the user interface, all that complex business logic, the database layer, all of it perfectly packaged, deployed, and scaled together as a single massive unit. I mean, it sounds incredibly simple, right? But here's the kicker. What actually happens when that app becomes wildly successful?
Welcome back, everyone. I am super excited to jump into today's explainer with you. We are going to be unpacking the architectural lifecycle of software, and specifically, we're zeroing in on the single unit strategy, mastering monolithic architecture. It's one of those design patterns that is brilliantly simple to start with, literally a superpower for small teams. But man, it can become notoriously painful when your system starts to really grow. So today, we're going to break down exactly how it works, why it's so incredibly popular, and, when you need to run away from it as fast as humanly possible.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our high-level design cheat sheet, laying out exactly what we'll cover. First, the anatomy of a monolith. Then, why teams choose monoliths. Next up, where the monolith hurts. Then we'll do monoliths versus microservices, and finally, making the right choice.
All right, Section 1, the anatomy of a monolith. What actually makes a system a single unit?
So, by definition, a monolithic architecture is a software design where literally all of your application components live inside one unified codebase, and they deploy as a single service. To really ground this, let's think about a typical e-commerce app. You've got your product catalog, the shopping cart, a payment processor, order fulfillment, maybe user management, right? Well, in a monolith, the presentation layer, all the business logic for those features, and the data access layer, they all share the exact same process. They're bundled together in one big box, usually backed by just one centralized database. Let's break down the core traits here. First up, you've got a single code base for all your features. Every single module is sitting right there in one giant repo. Second, it's a single deployable unit. You build, test, and deploy the entire app together as one artifact. Third, and honestly, this one is absolutely crucial, the components are tightly coupled. These modules depend heavily on each other. So a tweak in user management could totally break the shopping cart if you aren't careful. And finally, a shared runtime and database. Everything is sharing the exact same memory space and pointing to the same database instance.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it gives us a golden rule. It's like a cheat code for your next system design interview. One code base, one deployable, many responsibilities. If you can just lock that single sentence into your brain, you fundamentally understand what a monolith is. Everything in one place doing absolutely everything.
Moving on to Section 2, why teams choose monoliths, the hero of the MVP.
So why is this pattern the undisputed champion of new products? Well, for early-stage development, the advantages are just undeniable. A single code base is so much simpler to understand and set up. Onboarding new developers? Way easier. And testing? End-to-end tests and chasing down bugs are a breeze when everything is running in one single process. Deployment is also super easy because you only have one artifact to push. That means way fewer moving parts in your CI/CD pipeline. Plus, it comes with a much lower initial infrastructure cost. Less stuff to spin up, fewer services to manage.
So the crucial point is this. A monolithic architecture is the ideal fit for small to medium applications, especially if you have stable requirements and a fairly limited team. If you just want to get something out the door quickly without drowning in operational headaches from day one, honestly, the monolith is your absolute best friend.
But then comes Section 3, where the monolith hurts. The growing pains.
As your company and your user base explode, you're going to meet the villain of our story, the scaling trap. The rule here is that you cannot scale just one hot component. You literally have to scale the entire application. Going back to our e-commerce analogy, imagine it's Black Friday. Your payment service is just getting hammered with traffic, but the user profile update service is sitting totally idle. Well, in a monolith, you can't just spin up a few extra payment servers. No way. You have to duplicate the entire massive application. It is a huge waste of computing resources and, frankly, a lot of money.
And unfortunately, that scaling trap is just the tip of the iceberg. At scale, development actually slows down. Those massive, tightly coupled codebases become like a maze to navigate. Then you've got tech stack lock-in. Since everything shares one stack, trying out a cool new technology for just one feature is pretty much impossible without impacting the whole app. Deployments also get super risky. We've all seen the absolute chaos where fixing a tiny typo requires rebuilding, retesting, and redeploying the whole system.
And reliability? Huge concern. Because it's all one process, a single memory leak in some forgotten corner of the code can crash the entire application.
Which brings us to Section 4, monoliths versus microservices, the natural evolution.
When the pain of running a giant monolith just gets to be too much, systems typically evolve into microservices. In this setup, your functionality is split into a bunch of small, independently deployable services that talk to each other over APIs. So rather than stuffing everything into one centralized unit, microservices distribute those responsibilities out across multiple independent services.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference when we put them side by side. This mental model is an absolute must-know for high-level design interviews, by the way. Under design, a monolith is one unified codebase, but microservices are multiple, loosely coupled services. For deployment, monoliths deploy as a single unit, whereas microservices are deployed completely independently. And for scalability, like we talked about with Black Friday, a monolith forces you to scale the whole app. Microservices, you just target and scale the specific services that actually need the extra capacity.
All right, moving to actionable takeaways. Section 5, making the right choice. Let's look at the decision matrix. Let's see how this builds into an actual strategy for your projects. When should you actively choose a monolith? Step 1, if you're building a new product or MVP and you just need to ship it quickly. Step 2, your domain is fairly simple and your team is small. And Step 3, if you need straightforward operations with minimal infrastructure overhead. If your situation ticks those boxes, starting simple isn't just okay. It is absolutely the smartest technical decision you can make.
I want to leave you with this powerful closing quote that perfectly wraps up the architectural lifecycle we've been talking about. Start with a well-structured monolith and consider splitting into services only when scaling, team size, or domain complexity justifies the overhead. It's brilliant. Keep it simple first and only take on complexity when you've truly earned it.
And that brings us to the end of today's explainer. But before we wrap up, I want to pose a provocative question right back to you. In your own system designs, knowing all the trade-offs we just discussed, would you start your next project with a monolith to get off the ground fast, or would you jump straight to microservices to future-proof your scaling? And why? Think about it for your own specific projects. Keep exploring, keep building, and I'll see you in the next explainer.